Is it going to work?
It worked. It says we're live. Hello, everybody.
It seems to be working.
Hello. It has been a while.
Mm-hmm.
We were checking the other day on our videos and our live streams, and it's been a while. I know that my mom has contacted me, and your dad has contacted you, and other people have just contacted us. Allison contacted us, and she's like, where are you guys? You guys have been MIA. Is everybody okay? Are you guys all doing okay? So we are glad to report we are doing good. We have found that summer has been busy for us, super busy, but that is actually not the main reason why we've been MIA. Papa, do you want to share why we've been MIA?
Right.
Throw the ball in your court.
Well, a lot of it's just we've been busy, like you're saying. So I guess for YouTube, one of the reasons we haven't been on that much for the live streams is because,
Hey, Eric.
Hi, Eric. We were having trouble with the laptop, and we don't have 1,000 subscribers, so we can't just live stream on a mobile device. So we have to use the laptop. I guess there's some ways around it with StreamYard, but we don't have StreamYard yet. So.
Oh, Eric, thank you. He said, I missed you. I missed you too, guys. We actually missed the YouTube community. For the longest time, I'm like, I don't like sometimes like giving up my Sundays to go hang out. But now, like, I realize I love it. Like, I really miss the community and coming and chit-chatting with you guys and catching up to see what you guys are up to. So, Eric, we are glad that you joined us. Thank you for joining us. I know it was totally last minute. Papa, like he was saying, we were actually having problems with it for a while. So we tried once, and he actually spent the whole of Sunday trying to figure out what was wrong with the computer, downloaded a whole bunch of stuff. Even the next day, he was trying to figure out what was going on with the computer. And then we kind of didn't really mess with it again. And then even today, when we tried to set up the live stream, we were having problems again. And we're like, well, apparently it's going to be a permanent issue, but you did something.
Yeah, we accidentally fixed it somehow. It kept saying at first, it kept saying at first you have to give YouTube authorization to use the microphone and the camera. So we went in and changed that, and then we were getting another error that was saying another app is running the camera. So you can't use it on YouTube. So, yeah.
So hopefully it's fixed and we can be back on. Eric, you're so sweet. Said I always check to see if you posted. Oh, how sweet.
Thanks, Eric.
I was worried. Oh, thank you, Eric. That's very sweet of you.
We have had some family members say the same thing. We didn't know what's going on with you guys. We need some updates. What's going on? Is everybody okay? Yep, we're all okay.
Like I said, summer ended up being a lot busier than I thought. For the longest time, I'm like, okay, we're not going to be homeschooling, so it's going to be easier because I'm not going to be doing really that part. But we ended up doing so many other things. Oh, Forte, I miss you. Oh, hello. It's so neat to see you guys on. Like I said, I miss you guys, and it's neat to see you guys on here.
Yeah, we really do this because we like doing it. So the reason that we stopped doing it wasn't because that we didn't like doing it. We just had a bunch of other stuff. Technical
issues is the main problem. So it says the Camelo. Am I saying that right?
Camelo family. Yeah.
Said hello. Say hello.
Hello.
I can say I'm working on a video for my local TV station. Ooh. Well, Eric, thanks for stopping by. That was so sweet of you, and I think it's sweet that you stopped by. So hopefully we'll catch you on the replay.
Yeah, we'll have to check and see on his channel. Maybe put something on there.
Mm-hmm. So to discuss some of the stuff that we have been doing, we had family over. So I know that actually one of the last live streams we did, we talked about that. So before they came, we actually so we had been up before this point, we had been tearing apart the house. And so you saw, we have some videos posted on that. And there's some videos that I've been working on that I haven't posted concerning walls and other things being taken out. So we had been doing that. And then because our family was coming, we're
Karina.
Like, oh, it's Karina. Hello, Karina.
Hi, Karina.
Oh, Aw, we just changed our name for future fun stuff. Aw. Well, thanks for joining us. That's so cool that you're here.
I just saw a notification saying that she had some page that wanted me to approve or something on Facebook.
And Eric said he just hit 600.
Congrats.
Woohoo! Yeah,
job,
congrats.
Eric. Keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop now.
So we were working on the house, and then my in-laws and stuff were going to come over. So we actually stopped tearing apart and started to put up temporary walls. So it was kind of felt backwards because we tore out walls and then we put temporary walls back in. But that was just so they could be comfortable. And when they came, it wasn't like they were living in a construction site. So we actually spent several days. Sorry, our dog was MIA, so Victoria came in to tell me, thumbs up, we found them. So we actually spent a little while fixing everything back up, and then we had family over. So in the beginning, for a week, we had my father-in-law, my sister-in-law, and my nephews, which is his dad, sister, and nephews. They were here for a week, and we showed them Kentucky, and it was like so much fun. We went to all these places. They had like a little wish list of things they wanted to do. Did you want to go into depth in that, or do you want to move along?
It went really fast. That's what I remember. We did have one very notable day at the lake where we rented a double-decker couch. No, I'm just kidding. It was a double-decker pontoon boat, and that was very fun. It had a little water slide off the back of it, and had another deck on top that the kids were jumping off of. They were probably like 15 feet above the water, jumping into the water. It was a lot of fun.
Well, it wasn't just the kids. It was Paul and Alicia. Alicia jumped off too. She did.
I don't know if she jumped off the top.
She did once. She said it was very scary.
Yeah, it was fun. Hey, Joseph Merchant.
Hello, Joseph. That's neat that you joined us.
Yeah, so we did that. That was a lot of fun. We spent the day at the lake, and it was fun.
We went to Mammoth Cave with them, and then it was kind of funny. One of the things that they really wanted to do was they wanted to go to an Amish community, and like that was like the biggest thing. Like they're like, I really want to go.
Yeah, the kids wanted to do that.
Yeah, the kids. So we Vernon. I always say Mount Vernon, but it's not Mount Vernon. It's Vernon Community. Is a para-Amish, and so we went and we spent the day there. It just so happened that it was auction day that day, so we were there for the Amish auction, and we had never been to one of those, and we had been talking like it'd be fun if we could take them to an auction. So it worked out because we did the Amish at an auction at the same time. I'm a double So Joseph Merchant actually was one of our visitors that we also had. So after my family came, Joseph swung by, and it was so funny because he didn't realize that when he came here, he didn't really have self-service. And then there's an apple orchard across the way, and on that apple orchard on the top of the hill, he got service. And so he sat down. He's like, "Yay!" And so he's saying he's there because he has service.
You got reconnected with society again. Yeah.
Sorry. I could see him there.
Yeah, that was good.
Sorry.
Amish auction. Yeah, there's actually a lot of Amish auctions in our area. This one was for small livestock. But they actually had some cows there, so I don't know how they called it a small livestock. Mm-hmm. But there was only like 2 cows. There was probably 50 sheep and goats, and then there was hundreds of chickens and rabbits.
We actually did buy some stuff too when we were there.
Yep.
We bought some sheep and a goat. What else did we buy, my love?
We bought a bunch of bantam chickens, which are like a small breed chicken. They're probably like half size of a regular chicken. And I think we got 12 of those. So the plan with the bantams, these guys are small. They're just basically like mini chickens, but they're a lot more of what a wild chicken would look like if you were to find a chicken in the jungle, like in Hawaii or something like that. But the plan with these chickens is to get them laying and then see if we can kind of naturalize them and get them to go wild in some areas on our property.
We actually have several free range animals now, which is interesting. We have chickens. We have a few varieties. We have the duck and the goose. What else do we have?
3 ducks and a goose. We have 9 Astrolabe chickens, which are a black chicken. And we started those out as 2-day-old chicks. We raised those up. And the plan for those was to see if we can get them to go free range and try and keep them around the house and around the garage, the RV, to keep the bugs down. So we do have probably 35 chickens that are just our egg-laying chickens, but they're always fenced up. They have a little barn area and then like a little chicken yard where they can run out and run around a little bit. But those are not free range. One of the reasons there's kind of a conflict when you go free range with birds that you're trying to get eggs out of, and that is that's you can't find the eggs because the eggs are getting dropped everywhere. So if you're going to have egg layers that you really want to get eggs out of, you have to keep them somewhat confined.
Haven't you noticed too that when they're free, when they walk around more, they don't produce as much?
Yeah,
right?
So that's one of the other issues is they exert a lot of calories and waste a lot of energy walking around looking for food. So then you don't get as high as production. And that's not a big issue. My biggest issue is I can't find the eggs. I mean, I can't do an 8-acre Easter egg hunt every day to find the eggs. It's bad enough that it's probably 800 square feet where they can go in and lay all these eggs inside the barn. And then they have the whole outside area. They never lay them just out in the field in that little chicken run area.
Actually, now you're saying that, have you ever found any of the Astrolabes eggs?
No, they're not producing yet.
Oh, I was about to say.
So the Astrolabes are only probably 4 months now. We got them at the beginning of spring, or at the beginning of summer, which was like early May. Like the first week of May, we got those.
And they do hang around the perimeter, which is nice because sometimes I wish they would follow me. We actually did also, we actually mentioned we had guineas. So the guineas for a while would see me walking and they were following me and they would go down my path area, which I really loved because we get a lot of spiders. Well, I get a lot of spiders kind of in that walkway. And so I was really excited the guineas were following me. So what's our update with the guineas? I actually haven't really touched bases with you myself.
Yeah, actually, I was trying to track down the guineas.
Sorry, Anna says you'll find the eggs when they hatch.
Yeah, that's possible. Those Astrolabes that are free range don't have a rooster though, so those ones would never hatch. There's no rooster out there. But yeah, we had 6 guineas. We started off with 8. We lost one early on, like the first week, and then we were down to 7. We like to, like a week or 2 in, as long as it's warm enough outside, we like them to get outside as soon as possible. It's just a lot healthier for the birds. So we like to get them out in the open where they get fresh air and we can put them on a new spot every day or every other day. So like right now we have ducklings in the same situation. We have 8 ducklings. So to get back to the guineas, we had 7 of them that we took outside and we raised them up. We got those 2 weeks after we got the Astrolabes. So those were probably about 3.5 months old. the guineas were, and we had been keeping them around and putting them in a portable pen, and just we kept moving it around the house just so they were getting very comfortable around the house. Then we started letting a few of them out at a time, just so they all wouldn't. Sometimes when you let a group of animals out, they kind of like each one of them goes to see who can go a little bit farther, and then they just kind of just keep going. You've probably seen dogs do that, or even cows or something, but
So it's almost like setting a tether.
yeah. So if you keep some of the animals either chained up or whatever you have to do, keep them so that they can't leave. So in these, we had them in the little portable chicken brooder, and those guys were basically the tether, for the ones that we would let free. So then after a couple weeks of doing that, it seemed like they were going to stay home. So then about 2 weeks ago, we're like, okay, let's see if they'll stay. So we let them out, and then they roosted real close by on the property, probably just 50, 60 feet away from the workshop in some bushes. And then we fed them in the morning. So a lot of times if they get in the habit, any animal that you're just starting to let out, if you get them in the habit that this is where they eat still, they'll keep coming back to this area, and they kind of get that mental attachment. So then every morning they were coming back like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. They would always be around the workshop. And this happened for 2 weeks. And then like 3 days ago on Thursday, we had the sheep, and we had the sheepdog in with the sheep, and one of the guineas got in with the sheepdog, and the sheepdog tore that one up. So we lost one guinea there. And then the guineas, for whatever reason, they started kind of migrating farther and farther out. So one day I heard them up in the trees. There's a row of trees in between our house and the neighbor's house, and they were up in the trees, just squawking away at dusk when the sun was going down. So I was like, well, I'm never going to find them. I'm never going to get a hold of them. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to look for them the next day, and I didn't see them. So I went down to the neighbor's, and he said that he saw them around the road, but then he didn't. He hasn't seen them since then. So we haven't seen them for a couple of days, and we're trying to figure out where they went. They were pretty self-sustainable at that point. Like they were catching enough bugs, and they were old enough to be out on their own. They just, the problem is now they can go wherever they want to go. So who knows where they.
I really hope they come back though, because they did do a really good job. I was watching them, and they were, the chicken hunt. I feel like we're gonna get like sticks and go like, all right, little guineas, where are you? So Melanie Anderson. Oh my goodness! So I saw your message, and I got like so excited because I've been thinking about you a lot lately. We had actually visited the Anderson homestead a while ago now, and I know that she had her baby and she had family over, and we text every once in a while. And I've been thinking a lot about you, so it's so neat that you're here. He says you're going to be headed off to church, so you can't stay long, but hopefully we can catch you on the replay. Well, you catch us in the replay, and we catch you at some point. And I agree. We need to get together soon. We had planned something when we had gone to get the stove, but it didn't work out. So we do need to plan something. It would be so nice to see you guys. I see your videos every once in a while, and I'm like, oh, like we need to hang out. I miss them. But I really have been thinking about you. So it's neat that you came on. Jim and Tara, let's see. Hello, by the way.
Hello, Jim and Tara.
If you're with guinea hens, I have a friend where they took off. I agree. And actually, when Paul had been doing research, and this is like, how he did, like he keeping them in that area, they'll always come back. And so for those 2 weeks, we're like, yes, we got this down. And they were like all over the property, but they would always come back. And so now that they're gone, I'm really bummed out, especially because it's like money gone, like literally walked off.
Yeah, not just the money. I mean, they weren't really that much. We got them for like $3 a piece. So we're probably into it, probably $25, and then you add some feed, it's probably $35. But I mean, my biggest thing is we needed the little bug catchers, and guineas are not like chickens. They're not as social. They're a lot more wild of an animal. But the thing that a guinea does is, if you see a group of guineas or even one guinea, they look like when you see those crime scenes, like you have a missing person or some someone goes and gets lost out in the wilderness. They'll literally walk side by side, like scouring every square inch of everything. They're like looking for every little bug that's there. Like a chicken will kind of walk around and then it'll see some movement. But these guys are walking literally, like looking through every blade of grass. They're just completely different.
I never thought about it, but it's true. I watch like British scenes, and they always walk in a line with a stick. And that's kind of the way they are.
Yeah, that's how the guineas are. If you get a little group of them, they don't miss nothing, and they're really good for picking off ticks.
Which is one of the main reasons why I was like, get a whole bunch of them. So Jim and Tara said, I went to the bird auction in Horse Cave,
cool.
And the birds go for a lot of money.
Yeah, we've taken some birds down there. I forget what that one's called. I think it's called like Triple H or Triple R or RNR or something like that. We have been to that auction a few times, and we sold a ram there, and we sold a bunch of chickens there. That was where we found out that we had to bring our own cages. So whatever you bring your animal in, as far as a small animal like a rabbit or a chicken, whatever you bring it in, that cage goes to the buyer.
Actually, that actually left a really bad taste in my mouth to that auction. So we had been to several different auctions, and you could take a cage, and then the person takes whoever purchases it needs to take the animal without your cage, unless you say, I want to sell the cage. So we thought all of them were like that. We went to the Horse Cave with some really nice cages, and we had the decision to take our animals with us with our cages or sell them off. And eventually Paul decided to go ahead and sell them. And to this day, like, I get really angry. I'm like, we sold the cages. It wasn't worth it. So we got.
Well, we didn't really sell the cages. The cages were just included, and you don't have the option.
Well, our friend gave us the cage. And so we didn't really have like a lot of money invested in the cages, but they were really nice cages, and they come in handy. That's one thing that I've realized, like, you can find so many reasons to have a cage. And one of them is, for us, we just recently got a puppy. Yay! So Paul went off to visit, I guess, a friend or a neighbor. I'm not sure what you would, or both.
Yeah, a friend from church.
He went to go visit him, and he took Caspian with him, and he was showing him around, and they came home, and Caspian was like, I got a puppy. But Caspian's always pulling my leg about one thing or another, and I'm like, like, sure. And then, like, I see a little pair of ears, and I'm like, wait, what? And sure enough, there was a little puppy. He got a puppy. The friend gave it to him, and so it's a rat terrier mixed with a beagle. But I've looked it up, and it looks almost like 100% rat terrier, but he says there's beagle, but I don't see the beagle. She is adorable.
It's got beagles, because it's got like droopy ears, and then the ears are rounded like a beagle's ears.
So see, like, to me, I see it, I'm like, it's a rat terrier, but she's cute.
Yeah, it's a good little dog.
She's cute. Her name is Coco. That's what Caspian ended up naming her. And it's funny because she's still puppy, so of course she's mischievous. And one of the things that we have to train her is not to chase the livestock that's just, free range. So Luna, our other dog, we have to train him, and he finally got it. We don't chase it. And so now it's with her. And so she was chasing the chickens, and she like bit one of the chickens' butts. And I was like, no. And I like spanked her. And she didn't cry or anything. She turned around and she had a little feather like in her mouth. It was like popping out. It looked so cute. She was like, what? So we got a cage. So we contacted our friend that gave us the last cages, and we're like, hey, do you have any more stray cages? Because what happened is she adopted some puppies She notified the community. She needed cages. She needed a cage for this puppies, and a whole bunch of people just stopped by her house and dropped off cages. They're like, here, they just gave them to her. And so I contacted her. So she had an extra cage. So our puppy does have a cage.
Yeah, Karina made the comment that generally the cages go with the animals. It all depends on the auction's rules. So if you don't know, I would call ahead of time.
Yeah.
And figure out what their rules are. So we had gone to a few that wasn't the rule. And I mean, it was basically, if the seller wanted to sell the cage, they could, but they weren't obligated to. But then we went to that other auction. So I'm curious to know, actually, if Jim and Tara say that they've been to the auction in Horse Cave, they must be relatively close to us.
Yeah, I agree.
So where are you guys located, Jim and Tara Carey? We're located, we're about 30 minutes east of Glasgow, and the Horse Cave auction is pretty much 30 minutes north of Glasgow. So, they're in Campbellsville. So actually,
you're closer.
Yeah, you guys are close to the Anderson family. Do you guys know the Anderson family?
No, Campbellsville's closer to us.
No.
That's where the Dishmans live.
No, that's Columbia. So it goes Columbia, and then Campbellsville's another 45 minutes north.
Right when I think I finally got it down. And then Anna mentioned cages are an investment, so I wouldn't want to take my home-built ones. My Rudy came in a box. For a minute there, I couldn't make out if that was an R.
Rudy Rooster, Rudy Chicken.
Yeah, and you know what? I saw some really cool homemade cages at that one auction because people didn't want to take their good ones. So I'm like, wow, we could have done something like that. And kind of like you're saying, like boxes that just have like a little cutout and then like a little bit of chicken wire.
Yeah. You know, it was really common, I guess, for the people that go there, and it's kind of like a cyclical thing. They do it often. So they buy the animals, and then they'll get the cage that's just kind of, a temporary cage. But one thing that a lot of them would do is they would just take a very cheap, they probably get it from the dollar store, laundry basket, and then they would just put like a piece of cardboard or just something very inexpensive, maybe an old piece of mesh of some kind, like a wire mesh, and put it on the other side with maybe some zip ties or something. So that was something we kind of picked up, is just kind of keep your eye out for those scrap items that you can just haggle together a little cage that you don't mind getting rid of.
So Jim and Tara said, I do watch their videos. That's how I found you.
Wow.
Yeah, so we need to hang out because we're close by. I love hanging out. I've actually come to love having people over. We've had a few people. Someone else came in. Chris Clovercraft. Hey, guys. So glad to see you again. I hope that you are doing well. Thank you.
Yeah, and Backwoods Homestead coming from Nashville.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see him up there. They snuck in. I got distracted with the little rooster picture. I love the Backwoods Homestead. I'm all tongue-tied. I'm so excited that I'm tongue-tied.
Yeah, thanks for coming by, guys. We really appreciate it.
So that's one thing that meeting our neighbors is we just like randomly stop by each other's houses, and that's not really something we did before, and that's something that I'm really growing to really love, that people just show up, because sometimes you're like, I want to have people over, and then you kind of space it, but if they show up, you're like, you're here, let's hang out. But we have to plan something so we can do some yummy food, because we do enjoy feeding people when they stop by. Caspian, my youngest son, I was joking that he's becoming a Kentuckian because he'll meet somebody. He's like, I'm going to go to your house. And I'm like, no, you can't invite yourself over. And he's like, I'm going to go to your house.
When can we come to your house?
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you all at the picnic.
Yeah. We're not sure if we're going to be there, actually. So we found out that September 11th, when the picnic is, if you guys don't know about it and you are in the Kentucky area, there is a homesteading picnic in Western Kentucky. It's kind of near Paducah. It's called, what is the name of it? Heartland Homesteaders Picnic is what it's called. There's actually a group on Facebook that has that. But one of the things we found out is that there is the state 4-H shooting sports competition. So our kids got into the shooting sports program that's put on by the 4-H, and they got into that about 2 months ago. And yesterday they actually just went to a competition in Marrowbone, Kentucky, which is about 15 minutes away from us. And there was probably 10 different counties around us that were invited to this little shoot. And they had a good time. We actually didn't stay long enough to see if they won any prizes, but they all shot really well. Caspian and Victoria both shot rifle, 22 rifle, and then David shot 22 pistol. Thanks for putting up those details on there. So if any of you don't know about that homesteading picnic, it's in Grand Rivers, Kentucky, September 11th. We went last year. We met a lot of great people. We were really looking forward to going.
Mm-hmm. I know that you were really looking forward to, because we got more into the community and we have been looking forward to it. And even when we were told the dates for the shooting competition, my husband goes, and I'm like, what? And he's like, that's the day of the picnic. Like, he already had that date in his head.
Yeah.
So we still haven't come to a decision yet on which one we're going to do. We're going to go to the shooting competition, or if we're going to go to the picnic. I think like we waver between the, like a pendulum, like, oh, we're going to go here. No, we're going to go over here.
Yeah.
So we haven't yet decided. So hopefully if we go, we would love to see you guys and hang out, because I think it'd be so neat. But then there's the flip side, like our kids have been like working up to the competition. They really are enjoying it. So it's almost like, which one do you go to? So that's actually one thing that we've also been busy doing, is practicing, taking the kids. And so it's a different talent to just randomly shoot things, even just cans. It's different versus like target practicing. And so the kids do, the Caspian and Victoria with the rifles, they do 3 different positions. They do prone, which is laying down, and then they do like a sitting one and then a standing. David is all just standing, right?
Yep, it's all standing.
And so just learning how to like use their sights and shoot, and they really seem to enjoy it. It was funny because when we first went there, we're the newbies. Well, people have been doing it for a while, and they're like, they're not going to be that great. And they saw the kids shoot, and they're like, so you're going to state with us, right? Like, you're going to the state competitions, because they did fairly well.
Yeah, they're catching on good.
Yeah, so.
And they have really good coaches. That's one neat thing, is that there's a lot of people that are taking time and volunteering and taking the time to teach them. And a few of these guys have actually won quite a few competitions, and are marksmen that were in the military, actually. So they're getting some good coaching. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I tell the kids, you never know when you're going to have to shoot for your own food. So I'm like, it's good to have that, although it won't be still, but that skill of getting it down.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits for them doing the forage shooting sports. You have a contact with community. There's responsibility. You're learning safety, how to handle firearms, how to, safely use a firearm. And there's so many skills. How to, there's teamwork. They actually, a lot of times when they shoot, they get scored individually so they can win prizes individually, but then they also have a team score. So the better they do individually, the more it helps the team as well. So it is actually a team game.
And then Backwoods Homestead said, I've been shooting since I was 8. That is so neat. That's something that I never did until I met Paul, is shooting. And like, I can see so many benefits to that.
Come this way.
Sorry.
You keep leaning out of the screen.
Sorry, guys. It's because I'm waving my arms. I didn't want to whack you. I'm just so excited. So yeah, that's been fun. So we've been busy doing that, hunting. So he's been, but not competitive hunting. That's really neat. I actually want to learn how to do venison. I've heard that it's really neat. If it's cooked properly, it can taste really good. I think my dad started teaching me around 9 and hunted at 12. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's good.
So did you do deer or, oh no, that was not Backwoodsman, that was Chris Clovercraft said that.
Clever.
Sorry,
Chris
guys.
Clevercraft.
That's really neat, though. I'm tempted. You guys that were shooting, did you guys shoot deer? Yeah, Backwoodsman said yes. Backstrap is great. Deer. So yeah, someone was telling me if it's processed correctly, it doesn't taste gamey. I think that's one of the things that I'm like really like, is I don't want it to taste gamey. But I actually just canned with a lady. So I've been telling my neighbor since I moved here, I'm like, guys, if you're canning, please invite me. I think one of the reasons why people don't invite me is one is because it's always sporadic, but the other thing is like they don't really abide by the rules and they just do it, but it makes it work. And I'm like, no, I need that. Like I want almost like mom's kitchen, because I watch YouTube videos and I can get so stressed out because they're so like, you got to do this. And I'm like, oh, I got to fit this box. And oh my goodness. And so just watching someone make mistakes and doing it, the way they do it is really what I wanted. So I've been telling my neighbors, but I met this lady from the homeschooling community that we're a part of, and she canned a whole bunch of stuff. She was showing me her pantry area. I'm like, you need to invite me over. A few days later, she was like, someone just gave me a whole bunch of corn for free. Do you want to come over and learn how to can corn? And so I did. I went over there and it was neat. That was exactly what I wanted. Someone showing me and being like, well, if you can kind of, wiggle in this line in a sense of the rule and do it like this. And I had a really good time hanging out with her, but they do deer. And so they were saying like they shoot every year, they'll shoot a deer and they'll can it. And they're like, pressure can it and do this meals and have it for later. And I'm like, well, I don't eat deer now, but that would be so cool. And then she was telling me about canning chicken and a lady from our church was talking about canning potatoes. And she was like, my niece, I think it was, is canning potatoes. And when she did it, I'm like, you've got too much time on your hands. She's like, I can't believe you're canning potatoes. But the lady had like cut them in squares and got it all ready. And then she canned them. And she's like, and actually, I think she's onto something because there's been a couple times where I want like a quick meal. She'd grab those cubed cooked potatoes and use them. And she's like, I don't know. I think I might do it. So now I'm kind of tempted to look into canning potatoes.
Yeah.
Let me see what else here. We did rabbit, squirrels, deer, and quail. Wow, you did a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely a great resource to have. That protein that's out there feeding itself. That's kind of what we're going for with the free range stuff. Trying to get more and more stuff that's out there feeding itself, and then you just can go and harvest it when you need it. You don't have to worry about refrigeration. You don't have to worry about all this preservation. Just, if you have that ability and the animals are there, you can take them when you need them. We saw a bunch of turkeys. Actually, Caspian and I were driving back. I think we're coming back from work, and there was a bunch of turkeys over in this field, and they were all wild turkeys. We haven't seen a lot of wild turkeys here, but there are a lot. I mean, we don't go looking for them, but every once in a while we'll see them in the fields when we're driving. But I actually bought a hunting rifle. So when we first moved here, it was November of 2019, and in Arizona, it was very tricky to hunt. You had to put in a tag. It was kind of like a lottery system. Then you had to wait, and then I had never really been officially hunting with anybody. My dad wasn't into hunting. I didn't have any family members that were into hunting. So I didn't really have anybody to go with who kind of knew the ropes. So when I moved here, I was like, well, I really want to get into hunting. So I bought a 30-06, 30 caliber rifle, a deer rifle. And actually COVID was just kind of starting to kick in. So I was like, I better get this rifle and get some ammunition for it before everything disappears, because we didn't really know how long that was going to happen. So I have a deer gun and I need to take it out. One nice thing about Kentucky is that you can actually hunt on your own property. So in Arizona, the state regulation is, one of them is that you cannot hunt within a quarter mile of a road. Mm-hmm. So I started asking people, like, do you ever shoot guns on your property? Oh yeah, well, you can shoot anywhere you want. I mean, safely. And I was telling them about, you can't be within a quarter mile of a road, and they're like, no, not here.
So Backwoods and what was the other one? Chris's Clever Crafts. I'm gonna pull a Caspian, and you said you wanted to do hunting, and they do hunting. I'm gonna pull a Caspian. We're going to your house. We're
going to your house to eat some.
We're gonna go hunting at your house.
We've seen deer on our property. If we put out like feed corn or a salt block or something, we could probably get corn to come by. We could probably get deer to come by pretty regularly. A lot of people do that around here.
So Backwoods also mentioned you're also doing meat birds.
Meat birds, no. We decided not to do meat birds this year. We actually still have like 5.
Sorry, someone came in.
Country living with the Harnishes.
Hello.
I knew someone named Harnish.
From Nova Scotia. That is so cool.
I think Nova Scotia is in
Canada.
Yeah.
I know, because of Anna Green Gables.
So was I talking about the meat birds? Yeah, so we still have 5 out of, I think we processed 45 meat birds last fall in like October, November timeframe. And we still have meat birds from that. Mm-hmm. A lot of the reason that we did meat birds last year was kind of to check the market and see if we could turn that into a little enterprise and sell the meat birds. But for our own consumption, we still had plenty of them, so it didn't make sense for us to start a new crop of them.
Abby's Life on the Farm came in. Hello.
So we're not doing meat birds, but we actually still do run. We still do run some roosters in the chicken tractors. The chicken tractors were so beneficial, and we saw such improvement out in the pastures with the chicken tractors and the manure and all the scratching that they do out there, that we wanted to keep them circulating. So there's not as much of an impact because we don't have 60 birds out there in the field. But even with, I think we have 12 birds out there, and it's still worth it to do.
Well, even today when we were driving home from church, we we're coming up the drive, and Paul's like, "Look at that! Like, it looks so beautiful. Like, things are green. Like, you could tell they're doing their job."
Yeah, it's neat to see these areas that in year 1 were very problematic. They're very sparse. There was hardly any vegetation on them, and then to come around after year 1 into year 2, and now we're seeing a lot of these areas that they really were not productive at all. Now we're getting actual clover, and we're getting grasses that are beneficial, that have protein, like fescue and Kentucky bluegrass, Johnson grasses. It takes quite a bit with the Johnson grass. You really have to have a certain amount of topsoil or some kind of cover when you're going to get those larger clumping grasses, those perennial grasses to grow. And so once you hit that point where you start seeing those large clumps of grasses, then you know you've actually started to establish. The grasses are getting established in that area. So that it is really exciting. And that's what they call regenerative farming. And that's a lot of what we're going for.
And then to go back to the meat bird, I know that one thing that we kind of switched gears, and we've talked about doing sheep meat. What do they call them? Lamb burgers. And so I know like a lot of our neighbors do a lot of beef and they do lamb. And so I know that's one thing that we've talked about possibly doing is we have these sheep, and so possibly doing lamb burgers and stuff.
Yeah, we still haven't processed a lamb yet. So we had our first lambing season this spring. We actually had a few a little early. They would have been in the late winter.
Little sheep.
But
Backwoods Homestead says our neighbors do sheep.
Yeah, so we would like to get some of the lambs, especially the male lambs, the male ram lambs, get them up to weight and process some of them in the fall. Fall is a good time to process things when you're doing your own butchering, because it's cooler out and you don't have to worry about the meat going bad from getting too hot too fast.
I'm excited about autumn, guys. I don't know about Conrad, but I am like so excited about autumn. And it's funny because you can feel it in the air.
Yeah, you get little touches of it here and there. We don't get any real like long periods of coolness, but it's a strange feeling.
Mm-hmm. They go outside and it's like fresh autumn, and then the spiders too are coming out. You know what's funny is before I thought like people think of Halloween like there's so many spiders decor, and I'm like, why is there so much spiders decor during autumn? Like that is so weird. We moved to the country. I'm like, now I know why there's tons of spider decors during the autumn, is because that's when they come out, like really. And so I've even seen some Halloween looking ones, like the color palette. I'm like, I didn't even know nature did that. Like that is a little Halloween color, but they're coming out. And so I'm like, yep, autumn is right around the corner. But I'd rather take spiders than ticks. So that's fine.
Yeah, the spiders are really nature's balance though, because what you get is you get an influx of other insects because it's been so warm so long. And there's so much food out there for all these insects, the grasshoppers, and all these beetles and
flies,
flies and gnats, mosquitoes, all these little bugs. They're in a feeding frenzy. So the spiders are nature's balance. So then the spiders begin to mass produce to catch up.
I want to show you guys something. We talked about spiders and flies. Guys, this is a fly swatter from Target, which I know sounds kind of weird. Like, why are you showing me a fly swatter? So I found that finding a really good fly swatter is a lot harder than it seems. I found these at Target for like $1 something. Oh my goodness, these guys are beasts. Like, I love them. I would recommend them.
She brought out her fly swatter just to show you. She's so happy with it.
I love so I bought like, when I was in town, I bought like 2. We loved it. I went back and I bought 2 more, and I'm like, oh, I should have scrolled up. I should have bought some more fly swatters. My kids use them outside on a whole bunch of bugs. I use it here in the craft room, have some in the RV, some in the house. Like, they are beefy. I'll totally get it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I love the ones that zap the bugs. And I've tried that and I can never get it. Like, I'm like,
Yeah, that little bug zapper thing is cool in theory, but like I was watching the kids and they had to go catch the bugs with their hands, and then they had to drop it on the little, looks like an electrified tennis racket. But I mean the thing's interesting, but yeah.
I kill flies and feed them to my chickens. So it's funny because when we were doing corn, there was some worms and stuff, not worms, caterpillars. It was nasty. They were in the corn. Anyways, the kids were collecting them and they were giving them to the chickens, and the chickens loved it because they had all these yummy ones, all these little worms. They're all fat. It was funny. But yeah, guys, Target. I'm gonna put it away, but amazing fly swatter.
Yeah, the tennis racket works good too if you can get a hold of an old tennis racket like at a yard sale or something. Something you don't pay a lot of money for and aren't worried about busting all up. In fact, the carpenter bees, when the carpenter bees come out in the beginning of summer and spring, those are the tennis rackets work really good for knocking those out of the air.
Yeah, like Country Living is saying that, and it's funny because our neighbor, we were talking about the carpenter bees, and the kids were killing my fly swatters with killing these carpenter bees. And she's like, you need to invest in some really good tennis rackets. When I say good, I mean workable. And yeah, I agree. They are amazing. And the kids are like, I have this weird satisfaction as you whack them and you like feel it like it goes die somewhere. Kill them in the air.
Yeah, they were telling that guy that at the shoot yesterday. I heard him talking about that.
It's a weird satisfaction. So yes, tennis rackets, I agree, are very good. Even the dollar store. The other day I was at the dollar store and I was like, oh, these are kind of nice. Like, I think I'm gonna buy these.
The tennis racket at the dollar store?
Yeah, but they're cheapy ones.
Why didn't you get one? We've been looking for more of them.
Well, I didn't know. Now I know.
All right.
Put it on the list. I use a shotgun most of the time now. It's fun for me.
Shotgun on the flies?
The salt gun. Oh yeah, I think that's the one that JD and them have.
Yeah, the salt attack or salt assault or something like that. Bug assault, I think they call it. I wanted to get one of those, but I think they were I want to say they were like 25 or $30. You fill that thing full of salt and then pump it up. It's a cool concept. If they were more reasonably priced, I'd get one.
You know, Jim and Kate Tara said if you take plastic shopping bags and put them in other bags to look round like a hornet's nest, it keeps carpenter bees away. It's funny they said that because our friend was just telling me not too long ago that same thing. She was like, you need to look it up. And I was like, yeah, I will. And of course I haven't. But you said that. I'm like, that's someone else telling me the same thing about the carpenter bees.
Bags, huh?
Yeah, they said they get like a black bag and they just fill it. And they make it look like a wasp nest.
Huh. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. I have to look into it.
The ninja. What did he put on there with it? Oh, the little tennis racket. But there's a fly on there too.
Oh yeah, there is.
I didn't know those emojis existed.
That's cool. Help keep them away from wood buildings.
Yeah.
And they're aggressive little guys. Like they'll come and be in your face.
And they destroy a lot of stuff. That's the biggest thing is they'll make 3/8-inch holes in wood and really deteriorate wood real quick. You think termites are bad. These carpenter bees will destroy some wood quick.
I agree.
Sometimes I'll be in the workshop and the workshop's all wood frame and I'll hear their little crunching. You could hear them chewing through wood. Like, man.
Yeah, I agree. They can't sing, but they act like aggressive bees. They do. They're like in your face. And I know, like, I don't run from bugs, but a couple of times I've gotten to the point that I'm like, they're like all over the place. Aggressive. They make me mad. Let me see what else we have here. Anything? I'm looking at the time. I'm like,
you should go bring in your little puppy.
Yeah, I should. Do you want to talk about your ducklings really quick?
Yeah, bring in some ducklings too.
No, I'm not gonna bring in some ducklings.
Yeah, so we had a female duck, and she had been laying eggs probably about a month ago, and she hatched out 3 out of probably 8 of them. And we're like, okay, she's gonna take care of them. But then she paraded those 3 little ducklings all over the property and ran them to death. And we ended up losing those 3. So then about 3 weeks ago, she started another set of eggs. And it's pretty amazing because she lays about an egg a day. And these eggs just hatched about a week ago. And they all hatched within a 24-hour period. And there was 9 of them, 9 ducklings all at once. It's kind of weird because she lays them almost once every day. You would think, they would be one day apart. But what I found out is that if she doesn't sit on them right away, they actually kind of go into a dormant period. And then when she starts getting them up to temperature, then they all start at the same time. They all are activated. And so right now we have 8 ducklings, and they're growing up. They're getting pretty big. So we're really excited about that because we started out with 12 of the khaki Campbells, and we're now down to 3. We have 1 male and 2 females, and we were afraid that we were going to lose them and have to start all over again. So hopefully we can get our numbers back up for the free-range ducks. Here's the little pup.
Here's Coco.
Coco, look right here, Coco. Look at the people.
She's like, nope.
Coco, look over here. Look at. There's the people over there.
She's like, what are we doing in the craft room? We're not allowed in the craft.
She's a good little pup. She's a little dog. I think she's 3 or 4 months old, but she's working out.
Did you say goodbye to Chris?
She's gotten used to us. We're getting used to her.
Chris,
we've got to go work on a video. Mm-hmm. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Glad to be back on.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. We're just about done. Actually, we usually run these for about an hour. And
I have a funny story though with Coco. So she's getting used to us, like Paul was saying. And for the longest time, she made me sad because she wouldn't let me near her.
Put her on the camera. You talk. I'll hold her.
She wouldn't let us near her, and
let the people see.
I massage Luna, and I'm starting to massage her, like just kind of like rub on her. And now she comes up to me and starts giving me like her little body, like, go ahead, start rubbing me. And I'm like, okay, little pushy dog. Right now she's like, oh no, we're not allowed in the craft room.
She's acting like all mature. Usually she's like.
Yeah, she's like nippy.
Why are you so calm? Did you get disciplined for running off?
She didn't. She was just hanging out.
What's going on with the little pup?
I think the kids took her for a walk is what I think happened.
Did you get tired, little pup? She's not her little hyperactive self. If you know anything about rat terriers or terriers in general, these guys have tons of energy.
So Country Living says, oh, I wish I could show you mine right now. Oh, I wish I could see it. This is saying cute, super cute. Our puppy is 5 months, and our older one will be 2 in November. Oh, that's almost like us, like Luna. He is going to be 2 in November, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
In November, too. That's a terrier, right? They said it's a rat terrier.
Yeah, but see, his ears are kind of different. And then, what else was the other beagle feature?
I don't know. It's not the color palette because I found out that rat terriers are that color too. And then Country Living says ours are tricolor. What does that say right there? The last one.
Tricolor Shelties.
And this is a tired puppy is a good puppy. I agree. We are. I love Cesar Milan's videos. I'm constantly watching him, and he was talking about like they need to exert their energy. And so with Luna, he started to destroy stuff, like take him for a walk. So she's still too young to leash. And so they'll take Luna. There she goes. She's starting to come alive. They'll leash Luna, and then they'll take her, and she'll take off walking with them. See, there she goes. I'm telling you. She's like, oh, we're coming alive. Backwoods Home said we have a Yorkie poo, not exactly a farm dog, but cute. I agree. I think Yorkie poos are so adorable. I've seen them online. They're really cute. I love Yorkies.
Yeah, we only really have one dog that is truly a farm dog. We have a Pyrenees Anatolian mix that stays with the sheep, and she earns her keep out there, keeping the bad animals away.
And then Luna is the family dog. He's the one that comes out in our videos, and he goes like, he's a little bit bigger than in that video, but yeah, he's our family dog. And this is actually Caspian's puppy.
Caspian's little dog.
Yep. So we are actually hitting the 1 hour mark. Guys, thank you so much for coming and joining us. It was so nice to be back and to chit chat with you. Like I said, I really missed the community of just hanging out and seeing how you guys are doing and just hearing your guys' story. So thank you again. And for those of you that are going to join us later, I know that we have even family members that join us later on the replays. Thank you guys for joining us and watching us. Hopefully computer will work next week and we will be here.
Yep. Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for spending some time with us.
Bye, guys.
See you on the next one.
You're coming alive.